right, good evening. I want to welcome everyone. It's always really a pleasure when we have a full chambers and know that there's this many citizens that are interested in the agenda of the Salem City Council. So welcome. I'm pleased that everyone is here. It's a busy night, and I encourage everyone to be sure that they have a seat because we do like to keep the aisles clear. And also, I know that a few people have signs, and signs are allowed, but you're not allowed to wave your signs around or disrupt the hearings, and certainly not to disrupt anyone who's speaking. So with that housekeeping, we will call to order.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm going to utilize my time to let members of the public who are here this evening in on how city government operates, and then a little bit of material specific to the marijuana legislation agenda item. Council was distributed the email to say the agenda is ready and you can go look to see what's on it at 2:32 from the city's manager's office and at 2:34 from the city recorder's office on Thursday. That is the first time any member of the city council, save for the mayor and myself who saw it on Wednesday, was aware there was even an item regarding marijuana legislation that would be actually very disappointed in the profanity-laden adjectives that were laid out in responses to a certain individual's blog, including one from himself as well. And it's not journalism. We would be remiss if staff did not bring the options that the state put in place to ask us if we want to do anything different. Their recommendations aren't really recommendations. Their plan of attack currently is based on previous decisions that the council made on how we implemented medical marijuana. So a lot of misinformation.
I apologize to council and members of the public for the late notice on this.
Any further outbursts and people will be removed from the chambers. We must ask you to please maintain decorum or leave.
Half these people here look a little glossy-eyed under the mind-altering, you know, it's all about recreation.
Councilor McCoy.
I'm going to reiterate a little.
Excuse me, if you have things to distribute, please wait until it's time for you to speak. Would you please? Okay. All right.
I want to reiterate.
I'd like to have law enforcement assistance. This is not allowed. I'm asking this gentleman to not stand up while someone else is testifying and distribute material. I asked at the very beginning of this meeting for everyone to cooperate so that everyone would be fairly heard and there would not be any disruption. And I ask again. Thank you. City Manager Search Committee never did make any comments or commitments about having a public forum. I'm not sure where you saw that written, but it was not part of our process nor part of our plan. No, we did have, however, on the citizen panel, as I described a little while ago, representatives from major partners that the city partners with. And we certainly found that to be very effective. Yeah. So thank you very much.
Well, I just wanted to say one thing. I found that in a city document from May 13th. It's on the website.
I'd like to have a copy of that if I could, please.
Yeah, sure. Actually, I can bring this right up to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and just that, you know, it would have been helpful if you had released the name of this community panel, because we have no idea. We have no idea who's on the community panel. We have no idea if it was a broad diversity of representation, and I think that is helpful when dealing with the most important position in city government.
Thank you. Well, it is the most important decision we're going to make, and actually, I also want to correct you that we have not hired, nor have we made a commitment to hire. That will happen only after we do our site visit to Michigan, come back, and have a meeting with the entire city council. Yeah, thank you.
What he was asking for is, should we ban the early sale of marijuana that is allowable under state law on October 1st, and they want to know whether we should just ban all sales of marijuana after the early sale period, because he says, should it be? And so I told people exactly what the staff report said. I quoted it in my blog post, And now we're getting this, kind of Orwellian statement that what we said in the staff report isn't what we meant. We were going to approve this all the time. This blogger, all these thousands of people, that read this, the hundreds of comments that came in, democracy in action, that there was something wrong with this. There wasn't anything wrong with this. This is the way it should be. The mayor once during a work session on the trees said, there's too much drama about trees being cut down. There's too much drama. There's too much citizen involvement. You know what we need in Salem? We need more drama like this. We need more people involved. We need more people keeping track. Because on Friday, this came out. On Monday, you're making a decision. I like to say this is like, you guys are like the Amazon Prime of marijuana policy making. You put it out on Friday, 2 business days later, you're making a decision with no public input. And that is wrong. I mean, you got a lot of public input because of people like me, Salem Weekly, other people that put out the word that you're discussing this today. And it's completely false that you said that you were going to allow the sale and that this was just a kind of a fancy little document giving us legal options. There was nothing in the staff report that said this is our recommendation. Mr. Atchison said we want to get guidance from the council on what to do. So it's an open question. Thank you.
Excuse me, your time is
And I
up.
read your blog. And I got to tell you, there was a level of what I would call paranoia in your blog that I think has upset a lot of people. I think it's too bad that you look to find ways to dig and upset people when you could just wait and maybe wait for something to evolve. And so the city staff is bringing those issues to this body,
Yes.
asking for input.
Yes. And
Makes
we're
sense
giving
to
it
me.
to you.
Makes sense to me. Does it make sense to you?
Absolutely. We're giving you input. We're the people that elect you, and we're giving
No,
you
no,
input,
no, no, no.
and then you're going to make a decision.
Don't read into my questions, Brian. Come on. These bills were passed. The staff needs to get information. They're going to the information. They're going to the policymaking bodies to get the information. We can't do it behind closed doors, so we're doing it out in the front.
Right.
And we got people just running amok with misinformation. So you want us to just not do anything, and when you go to that dispensary on October 2nd and you don't have your medical marijuana card, they say, Brian, we can't serve you. Is that what you want us to do?
Well, no, I want early sales to happen.
Well,
And
then we
there was
got to go
an
through the
option-
process, Brian. You got to give us a chance to do our job before you overreact.
And it's always interesting to watch democracy in action. I assure you I do not have glassy eyes, sir. And I do find the level of kind of hostility and rudeness toward us as voters somewhat of concern. But I'll move on to my comments. Since I travel nationally a great deal, and since I've held a number of elected offices, as well as appointed offices in my life, I'm always finding myself talking to people about the city I live in, Salem, Oregon. We're famous as a city with owl attacks. We're famous as a city for cutting down our urban forest canopy without appropriate public input. We're famous as a city that is driven by business and developers' interests. I find myself defending my city against some of these charges on most of my travels, and I am concerned that always our process will be transparent.
Again, folks, you can come up here and talk about it and support it, but quit pounding on us. All we got was a report. We haven't made our decision yet. You'll find out later what we're going to decide, but this jump into conclusions is something I don't understand.
May I respond? Thank you. No. Thank you. All right. Councillor Benjamin, followed by Margot Lucas.
I'm actually turning my slot over to the gentleman that you had your goons remove, if he's still here. So I would ask that you allow him to
No, we
re-enter
will
so he can
not
speak.
be allowing that. Did you
What do
care
you
to
people think? Do you
testify?
think he should be allowed back in?
Do you care to testify or
Because
not?
of how that motion may end up, I just wanted to get clarification
Yeah.
on that.
So we can pretty much do anything we want, is what
We can do anything we want, unless we're preempted by the feds.
Ah, okay.
We have an amended motion on the floor, and the amended motion is to, Councillor McCoy, would you like to restate that motion? Oh, good. You've got it all there? I love it.
To direct staff to amend SRC Chapter 31 to allow persons 21 and over to enter medical marijuana facilities.
All right.
October 1st.
Is there a second?
It's silent on that, so it's already effect.
Doesn't need it to be, because it already is. All right. So the question is on the floor. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Nay. All right, 1 no. Motion passes, and Mayor Peterson is the no vote. All right.
About to say I will be supporting the ordinance.
Nothing wrong with this. There wasn't anything wrong with this. This is the way it should be. The mayor wants